Welcome to part 2 of using IEnumerable interface, and we're just going to take off right where we ended in part 1. And if you remember, in part 1 we created our guitar class, and we created a small collection here of 4 different guitar manufacturers, and we put that into a collection called GTRS. Then in our code on our form we put a button in a list box, and then in our code back there we instantiated a new instance of our class, and then we're just going to do a little for each, iterate through that collection and add those to the list box. But immediately we got a for each warning us about the fact that our class guitar does not contain a public definition of getEnumerator. And so what we're going to do is we'll go to guitar and we will tell this thing to implement, or that we're going to inherit the IEnumerable interface. Okay, and we're going to do the generic here, and to do that we're going to have to do a using statement up here, and I could have done it explicitly down there, but I want to show you you'll have to add this in to use IEnumerable. I will have to add the system.collections because we are working with a collection here, and once I put that, notice the problem goes away there. Now notice when I put that there, if I go back over here, my for each is now happy. All right, it can go through there and start to grab things. Okay, however, we still haven't provided everything that it needs, and so we need to go back and take care of that now. Okay, so to implement that interface, we are going to have to go into our guitar class that is implementing IEnumerable, and we're going to have to put the method in that it is looking for to satisfy that interface. All right, and if I try to compile that, I'll get some interesting things happening. But notice, here is my implementation, public IEnumerator, getEnumerator is the method, and this is simply going to go out and grab a new instance here of a new class, and then return that back to me, and then I can use that to actually iterate through this stuff. So what I want to do is go create that class and put the functionality that I need in there. So I'll go back out to Solution Explorer one more time, and then I'm going to add this class in for this new class, and this one is going to be called Guitar Enumerator. And I will add that class right here. And then notice, I'm going to show you, I'm going to inherit from the IEnumerator interface. And let me come down here, and I'm going to have the same issue here. I will have to do system collections up here. To make this little squiggly go away right here. Okay, so my compiler doesn't have a problem. Now I want to show you what I'm going to do here. I am going to create a situation, write some code, and I'll just paste it in because it would take me forever to get this typed where you can see it. But notice what I'm going to do. This is going to create a new instance of a class and then make it available to my code to be able to set the current property, to provide the move next method, and to provide the reset method. Okay, and so notice what it's going to do. This is a constructor, right? So I'm going to pass in, I'm basically going to bring everything in from my collection into this class, into the Guitar Enumerator class, and then I'm going to provide the functionality that is needed to make all this magic happen. All right, and so let me make sure that I get my right there. Let me bring this code in, and I'll copy this code in. Then I want you to notice, you can just go through here and look, this is my current property, and notice we're doing some checks here on the get, and we want to make sure on our position where we are, and this will just throw invalid operation exception if we're not in the right location. There's move next to move to the next item in the collection, and then there's reset to actually reset it. Okay, now if I have all this stuff correct, then I should be able to click on start here and iterate through this. Now let's let this come up and let's see if I've fat fingered anything, and I'll click this and notice it went through. Now that's just a little confusing or incomplete feeling to see it that way. So what I want you to do is get all this code in your own example. All right, and then just go in and put a breakpoint and start this, and then start to use F11 to jump through here. And what you're going to see is that as you jump through on this, and I'm going to use the button bar up here, this is going to go through. Notice that it started the collection. It is now going to start the for each, and it's looking through those things, and it is now going to jump out into the guitar enumerator method. It created that instance of that class, and now it is simply going to load that up. And notice it's going to loop through here and load those four up, and then it's going to return that object back out there, and now the for each is going to start, and it moves to the next one. And then it goes through the next one again. It's warning me that I'm going to skip some things, and I'll just keep stepping through, and it's adding those every time. And if you'll just do this yourself and watch through it very closely, you'll see what's going on. All right, and then we'll finally get to the end here in just a moment. And once we're at the end, then we will see that we've iterated through our collection. And there they are. Now again, the only way to really make this guy make any sense, get this code working just like you see me do here. Go into debug and step through it, and you will see that the absolute magic here comes from adding this guitar enumerator class that is then created by the class, or that is used by the class that implements IEnumerable to create that new object that's used. We load our collection into that object and iterate through it. So it's really kind of a cool functionality, but it's a bit tricky. So just go through the code, get this comfortable in your brain, and I think you'll be good to go on IEnumerable.